All right, story time with Laverne and Shirley, but I'm going to tell you guys a story. All right, I don't even know how to go about starting this one, but it's not going to be as long as the last one because that just took too long. I was trying to time the bridge that I was going over when I was telling it. All right. I was in automotive college. Okay, picture this, right? And I'm in automotive school right up the road, and to make ends meet, I'm selling used cars. So I'm picking them up cheap. Back then, this is a long time ago, so I could get a car for $500,000-$700,000, and I could sell it off for maybe $1,700. The highest maybe $3,000. Anyway, I picked up a Fiero out of town and brought it back. I got it for about $600, and that started on fire. Anyway, that's a story for another time. I got it running, and I listed it for sale. Okay, and by this time I've already sold 10, 15 cars, so it's nothing new to me. I've met a lot of people that are crazy. I've met people that have threatened me to shoot me because they'd come there and I already sold the car, and for some reason they thought that they were more important than other people. I've seen it all, is what I'm trying to say. I have seen it all selling cars by this point already, right? Nothing phases me at this point. Anyway, I'm getting calls. I probably got 30 calls within this week that I've listed this Fiero for sale for, I think I listed, it doesn't matter, $2,000. I was trying to make $1,200 or whatever it would have been, getting it running. Anyway, a guy keeps calling me, and I didn't think nothing of it. It happens all the time. If you guys sell on Facebook, you already know it happens all the time. People call you all the time. This guy, I think his name started with an R. I don't know if it was Rick, Ralph. I don't want to say anything. I think it might have been like Ralph or Rick or something like that. I know it was an R because it doesn't matter. He's called about, over a course of 6 days, he called me about, I don't know, I'd say at least 6 or 7 times. And he'd ask about the car, but it seemed more like he'd be asking about me. Like, he'd find out things about me. He'd be saying, like, weird things. But at the time, it didn't even, he had a reason for all of them. So just keep that in mind. But he'd ask stuff like, what's your shoe size? And I'd be like, I don't know. I wear size 12, which I do. And he's like, okay. And then he'd be like, because I want to know, because I'm buying this car as a gift for my son, a special gift present for my son's birthday. So I want to make sure, because Fieros are small, mind you, they're a 2-seater car. So I'm thinking, okay, nothing there. He's asking me about how do you work on cars, or how's school going, stuff like that. A nice guy. There was absolutely no reason to think anything weird about the situation, right? So after and this went on for a week and a half. And for some reason, usually I sell cars quicker than this, but this one didn't sell right away. Fieros are kind of tough to sell, but you get the right buyer, they'll come and they'll scoop them up. And now they're going up in value. But back then, I sold 6 of them anyway. That's here nor there. So one day, he finally sets an appointment with me. I don't know what day it was, a Tuesday or something. He shows up, knocking on the door, no problem. He wasn't a very big guy. He was probably, I don't know, he's shorter than me, maybe 5'9", but he's heavier set. And I'm thinking, this guy can't, there's no way. He told me he was buying it for his kid, but I'm thinking, if his kid's anything like him, he's never going to fit in this car. Anyway, I said, all right. And he's like, let's go for a test drive. No problem. I gave him the keys. And he's like, and I could tell he started getting a little bit nervous. I could tell. I'm a car salesman. I can pick up on emotional cues instantly. By this time, I've already sold 20-some cars over a couple years. I can pick up right on you emotionally and everything else, I could pick up on cues, and he's getting nervous and weird, kind of. You can tell because you look at their hands and they get kind of clammy anyways. He's like, no, I really want you to drive because you're more the size of my son. All right, it makes sense to me, So I'm like, all right. And he gives me the keys, and I'm like, that's no problem, because I'd rather drive the car anyway, because I never put license plates on them, and I always have to sit at the house and worry about it, you know? And anyway, I get in the car, and he gets in the car with me with a set of shoes and socks, right? Boots, work boots. They're big boots and big socks, okay? And he's sitting next to me. He's like, let's go up here. You know, I'm driving, so I'm choosing where to go, you know? And he's like, pull into this parking lot. There was a Sammy's Pizza there. And he's like, pull into the back of the parking lot. He's like, can you put these boots on? Because I want to make sure when my son's driving to work, with my son, these boots and socks, I want to make sure when my son's driving to work that his feet are going to fit on the pedals. And honestly, I've never met a sicko before, so I really didn't think that much of it. I really didn't, honestly. I should have at the time, but I really wasn't that uncomfortable with it. Like I said, I've met people that threatened to kill me for selling a car because they were convinced that they were going to get it for their daughter or something, and then I should hold it for them, and I never would. If you do that, you're silly. I've had so many people not show up that... But anyway, I'm not even going to go in those stories. So all I'm saying is people have threatened to kill me before, so it's not like I even thought anything of it at this time, right? So I'm like, sir, I'm not putting on your fucking son's socks. I'll tell you that right now. Give me the boots, and I put them on. I put the boots on, and I got in the car. We started driving. He started getting real weird, man. Like, it was like he turned into a different kind of person. You know, I looked at him, and his cheeks were turning all bright red, and he was smiling. He had this smile on his face, and trust me, when you're like me and you can read people, I knew something. It just didn't seem right. Things weren't right, you know? And he's like, you want to get out of the car and walk around it in the shoes for me? And I just looked at him and I said, that's enough, you know? I'm taking the car back and whatever. And I took the boots off, put my sandals on, and I started getting, tough, right? So I'm like, I'm never dealing with that guy again. He didn't even make me an offer. He left, right? So 2 months go by and I get a call. I'm getting a call, and it sounds similar to this guy. At the time, I didn't know. You can't tell. It was a different number, right? I was selling another car for a friend of mine, his brother, a big old Buick, but it don't matter. Either way, I'm selling a different car at this time, and I'm getting calls, and the guy, I didn't think nothing of it, but there was another guy acting the same kind of way. Like, it was more about talking to me than it was about whatever. And his story, this guy, and I didn't know it was the same guy or whatever, and so it went on for another, the same fucking story, 10 days or something. This guy was calling and asking me personal questions that had nothing to do with the car. It always started with the car and then nothing to do with the car. But this guy's story was that he needs a car for himself. This guy needs a car for himself to go up north, to have up north as an extra vehicle, because he goes up north and his wife doesn't want to stay there. She wants to go home, blah, blah, blah. He had a whole story about how he needs the big Buick. He wants an older car that's cheap to go up north, and leave it at his cottage. Like I said, nothing out of the ordinary. I didn't put two and two together. It was a completely different number. Eventually, he sets up a date to come to the house, back to the apartment, for me to show him the car, right? Blah, blah, blah. I'm sitting there waiting. The guy's a half hour late. Anyway, I look out the window and see a vehicle pull up, and it's not even recognizable or nothing like that. Lo and behold, does the same fucking guy walk out of the driver's seat holding a pair of boots and socks. I opened the fucking door and said, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. And he took off running with his little knees clicking together with his boots. He dropped a sock. I'm not even kidding. I said, you don't get the fuck out of here, I'm gonna hurt you. but he was a real sick person. And what makes him a real predator is that he thought he could do that with me. And I'm a fucking, anybody knows me, I'm pretty witty and I'm pretty quick, you know. You're not going to get one over on me. I'm a car salesman, you know. But just the way this guy, I just couldn't believe it. I looked out the fucking window, and I'm not even kidding you this time. He was walking to the door with boots and a pair of socks again, and it just made me sick. I'm telling you right now. It's hilarious, but it just made me sick. But these are the types of people you'll deal with if you're selling vehicles or you're doing anything like that. You got to be really careful, because I'll tell you, not one red flag went off, even between the two calls. On the second one, I didn't even think about him. It had been a couple months, and his whole story had changed. So I knew the first car had nothing to do with his son, because all of a sudden the second story, when I had a different car for sale, was for his cabin. So I knew he was just trying to exploit me, you know. And I was a pretty good looking guy in college there, you know, and young and, you know, probably fit. I was turning wrenches all day. And I'll tell you what, I looked out that window, I just couldn't even fucking believe this guy was walking up to my apartment to knock on the door with the big fucking pair of stinky work boots and two fucking dirty ass fucking wool socks. And to this day, I wonder if he was touching himself with the socks or what. But anyway, that's the story. Be careful out there. There are some really, really sick people. Anyway, that's the story. Story time. Like and subscribe.